Hey everybody, it's Chris, and tonight we're going to be looking at one of my favorite molds, the Truth, in a brand new plastic Glimmer Lucid-X. You can see how shimmery the plastic is from here. It's got some sparkle to it, and it is that really nice, stiff Lucid-X plastic. This run is very domey, very pop-toppy. You're going to see purple and pink are going to be the primary throwers for this video, but I also did throw the blue, got it a couple shots just to see if there was any difference in color. Spoiler, nope, color didn't seem to have any effect at all on this run of the Truth. But for comparison's sake, because it's the Truth, we had to go through the history of the Truth a little bit. So we've got some AmWorld's Truths for comparison. These tend to be the gold standard. The AmWorld's Truths are defined by the white or off-white color with a two-tone blue and red stamp, just blue and red, not rainbow or anything else, but hybrid blue and red stamp. These are a little bit broken in, so I also included a couple other pre-Sweden Truths, first run, and another hybrid, which I'm pretty sure is from the same run as the AmWorld's, but it's Dimaxed. Those are a little more overstable because they're fresher, so I use those for comparison tool just to see how the Glimmer would throw against those. That's usually the comparison. You want to know how a new run of Truth compares against the pre-Swedens. If it stacks up well there, you're in good shape. Spoiler, it did. I also included some Premacs. Now these are made in Sweden versions that have the Emac silhouette. This is not an Emac Truth because the silhouette is small and dancing on the numbers. This is an Emac Truth. See, the Emac silhouette is much larger, goes up into the label, or up into the wording of the Truth, all the way down to the numbers. Much larger silhouette. Emac Truths are not part of this video, we're only looking at Truths. So Premac Truths. I am going to link a video I did, brief history of the Truth up there, so you can see a breakdown of where all the Truth runs fall. I didn't use the term Premac in that video though because it was coined around the same time and it just hadn't become popular yet. A couple current run Truths. And then also for good comparison, a couple of Lucid-X Truths. Now these are similar plastic, Lucid-X, but not quite as hard, still just as domey, but not quite as hard as the Glimmer-X, and I think that's where the stability difference is going to come in. So, quick breakdown. How did it go? Well, the short answer is I think I have a new favorite run of Truths. They're more overstable than any of the other runs. They have a more aggressive fade, which you're going to see. And that doesn't mean they're going to be more useful. It actually means they're going to be a complementary disc for me. I can put them in a bag. I can add another Truth to the bag to add stability. It's going to be a nice bridge between my first run or my pre-Sweden Truths and my Justice. It's not verdict overstable, so don't think it's a verdict, but it's pretty close. It's nice and overstable complement, and you're going to see that in the flights. More aggressive fade. I can throw it off axis, coming on an ante and expect it to come back to center. And it actually handled wind pretty well too. Fought pretty well there. So on a windy day, I'll be able to throw them as a primary. Possibly throw them as a primary straight mid, just kind of using them where I would normally use my first runs. So I'm going to go to the video, but if you have questions or comments, please put them below so I can get back to you. And if you have a Glimmer-X Truth that you don't like, feel free to hit me up because I'm willing to trade for it. So enjoy the video, put those questions below so I can get back to you, and enjoy this beautiful new plastic of the Truth. Okay, so 3 practice throws. About 70% here, just looping it out to the right a little bit and letting it fade, and you're going to see a nice hard fade, which is pretty consistent with this disc. Second throw is an 80% hyzer. This is intentional, going around the light post and trying to drop it back on the trash can. I actually went a little bit farther left than I was expecting, which is good. And then a big tall anhyzer. I really turned this one over to get it to hold as long as it did. We'll kick off disc comparisons with a trio of pre-Sweden throws. This first is just an 80% power throw, out to the right and letting the disc fade naturally. What you'll see here is the Glimmer Truth just has a little more aggressive wing dip, so it's just a little more overstable, trying to get to the ground a little faster. The second shot is a flat throw, just right down the middle. What you're going to see here is that the Glimmer Truth never quite gets up to flat. It wants to hold that hyzer angle, and it does push far left. It's slightly deceptive. There was a right to left wind, and you can tell it just catches the disc and throws it over a little bit. But you can see that aggressive wing tilt. And then this third throw is just an anhyzer throw. I'm going to put them on pretty steep angles to get them to go as far right as they do. It doesn't show well on camera, but I actually had to tip the Glimmer a little bit harder than the AmWorld's to get it to go. Next up is a pair of Lucid-X comparisons. This first is again that 80% shot, just to throw it out to the right, let it fade back to center. What you're going to see is the Lucid-X just pops up a little bit higher, flattens out a lot more before kind of stalling to the left as opposed to that harder fade from the Glimmer disc. And you're going to see, I think that's an indication of high speed stability. On this one, when you see the Glimmer-X really start to fade, you're going to see the Lucid-X is kind of turning. It's probably partially thrower error, but I just don't think it has the same high speed stability as the Glimmer. Up next is a Premac comparison. I apologize, both of these discs go out of frame. What you don't get to see is that the Premac does flip up a lot more. So the Glimmer holds that hyzer line it's put on and comes back toward the trash can, whereas the Premac ends up farther right. The next two comparisons are to a more current run of truth. This is fusion, but it was in line stability-wise with the Lucids I'd thrown around the same time. What you're going to see is the Glimmer, of course, has that hard left fade, whereas the fusion tips out right late in its flight before almost getting back to center. On the second throw, the fusion is going to flip up really nicely. This would have been a great hyzer flip in the woods throw, whereas the Glimmer holds a straight line to the ground. We'll finish up disc comparisons with a trio of throws in the woods. The first is a gentle right turn, which the Premac just excels at. You're going to see it nestle up to the right side of the pin, whereas the Glimmer Truth is going to fight out of the turn, hit a tree on the left side of the fairway, and kick farther left. On the second throw, it's going to be a hyzer on the right side fairway. The Pre-Sweden on the bottom frame is going to hold that line perfectly, sneaking up just short of the basket, whereas the Glimmer Truth with a much harder fade is going to end up short and left. Again, it's just a little more overstable, so you have to adjust to that. And the last one is a tunnel shot, plays about 290. You're just trying to throw it right up the gut, have it fade left. You're going to see the Pre-Sweden's going to hold the hyzer I put it on. The Glimmer comes out beautifully flat before fading hard. This is the last throw I'm going to show again. I think this is a great example of how these Glimmers throw. Give it good snap, it holds that flat line, and then that really nice, predictable, overstable fade, even more so than the old Pre-Swedens. So quick thoughts. This is the most overstable version of the Truth I've thrown. I think it adds another layer of stability to the Truths I already have in my bag. I think it's a great companion or complement to the current run of Truths. So if you're looking for something like that, you might want to pick one of these up. If you liked this video or thought it was informative, please feel free to like it, share it, or even subscribe. Thanks for watching.